What, daughter? It's tax time. And if you're like me, you're gonna get a pretty nice chunk of change for your return. And with it, I'm gonna be able to pay off a lot of credit card debt. But if you're like me, then you're probably thinking about some toys for your home studio. Now, it's the same mentality. Let's call it G.A.S. And what G.A.S is in the music production community is an acronym for Gear Aquisition Syndrome. So we need a little relief for this G.A.S. Here are 4 things that I'm gonna try out to help me pass this G.A.S. So I'm about to go down a list of things that I've created for myself to help me get through this G.A.S. The reason I'm doing this video is to help myself out because I got a couple things on my gear wish list. Number one, I've been really looking at the SP44A a lot lately, and then I wanted to do an upgrade on my keyboard and get the new Yamaha Modi X. I like to look at the deeper meaning of things. Why do I want these things, and do I actually need them? And it's a little fight within my mind, a little war going on there, telling myself no, telling myself yes, just go ahead. But the number one thing that I put on my list is something that I do from time to time, is just to rearrange my environment. So what I mean by that is just to move a couple pieces of my gear around. My main pieces of gear, and what I tend to move around mainly is like my MPC Live, my keyboard. And so this is what I got going on right now. And it's just slightly different. It's got me in a mind state where things feel fresh. It tends to work for a little bit and then it wears off. The next thing I wrote down would be just to learn a new function of the gear that I have right now. And along with that, I would say that I had to ask myself 2 questions. And those questions are, have you mastered the equipment that you have right now? And if you haven't, then why are you even considering looking at this other equipment? Now the second question would be, so the new equipment that you're looking at, can it do something that you can't do with the equipment that you have right now? Or can you achieve with the gear that you have right now what it is you're trying to do with this equipment that you're desiring? For me, if I'm going to be honest with you, I'm looking at 2 different pieces, and one of them's a sampler and one of them's a keyboard. With the keyboard, I would be on an upgrade, so I get rid of the keyboard. I could justify that. But then when it comes down to getting the SP44, it's another sampler. I would definitely not be trading up. I'm not getting rid of the MPC Live, I know that. So it would be an addition. Now, do I need 2 samplers? No, not necessarily. I might want the 404 because it's got cool effects on it. It's got that lo-fi sound thing going on, and that sounds dope. In all reality, I don't necessarily need 2 samplers. Although I tend to be a gear hound, I'm still this this minimalist, and I never keep more than 1 piece of equipment that does the same purpose. So I'll never have like 2 keyboards. Although right here I'm kind of contradicting myself. I do have 2 keyboards, but this one right here is my portable I could take with me, and then over here this one's the stationary, stays in the studio. A lot of times we look at new gear because we feel like it's gonna make us sound better. I tend to not actually fully use my equipment to its full potential, and I put a lot of stuff on credit. A lot of my credit card debt that I'm holding now is just because I love to buy gear and try new stuff out. I've learned about a lot of equipment and it's had its value in itself, but I'm growing up and I feel like there's a time for change, and it's the time right now, and that's why this is such a battle for me. I just know that there's so much more I can learn with this right here, with the MPC Live. There's just so much more I can do with this here. I'm no classically trained pianist. The more theory I can learn, the better my beats will be. Getting another piece of gear may make me sound good, but only to a certain point. Really mastering some theory or learning how to play this is really gonna make me step up. I think it's all about what you meditate on and what you put your time into. But I'm just trying to figure out a way not to blow my money. But just being in that mind state where I'm just allowing myself to do that over and over again, I think I'd just be digging a hole for myself. So the third thing I wrote down, shift my focus and my attention away from this music thing. Because I'll be on my phone when I'm not in my room working on music, looking at gear and stuff, and I'm like looking at videos on this gear, and I'm just obsessing about what it would be like to have this gear, what I could do with it. And it sounds stupid, but it's a real issue to me. I need to spend some more time with my family, with my girl, taking her out, all these things that are important. What's just spinning in my head is just music and music equipment, and it's crazy. I recently did 30 beats in 30 days over on Instagram, which was cool. It was a learning experience. But that was an overload on beats. I actually felt like I got sick of making beats and didn't want to, which is crazy. So now I'm on this 21-day workout thing where I'm working out at least 3 days out of the week for 3 weeks. This is what it is. Just hopefully I have the motivation to keep that as much as I do with the music thing. You know, physical health and mental health, spiritual health, you know, that's very important. It's always been a big part of my path. I've studied many religions. It's something that I just need to put some more conscious effort into and kind of return back to that. I have been very lightly, very slowly, picked up the Bible. A good word came to me that I feel like is very, very valuable to the situation that I'm in right now. And so I want to read that. It goes like this. Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. The treasures that we lay up here on earth, all these possessions and stuff, these things are all passing. They don't last, you know. Even if I did purchase a piece of equipment and it was useful to me as a tool, that feeling would probably rub off. You know, eventually it would fade away, and I'd be looking at the next thing, chasing after that feeling again. It could be any area of our lives. As musicians, it could tend to be gear. Saying to lay your treasures up in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys. So, you know, the things in heaven are things that are, we would say in this tradition, that they're lasting forever, the infinite. You know, these things live on because they're like the spirit things, the things of love, the things that we give and the things that we do. And they live forever because they pass them on to each other, and we don't have a need to hold on to them. And that's how they live forever, because they don't need of themselves, and they're selfless things rather than selfish things. Being that all these things on earth are passing, they're temporary, just like our emotions, my feeling to purchase a new item, even that is temporary. It will even pass too if I wait out long enough. So moving on to the fourth thing, you know, the very most simple and basic thing I could do is just wait. Applying these things that I've mentioned on this list that I created and putting them to effect and to practice, I feel like can be very helpful. Hopefully this will help you too. I am very thankful that y'all took the time to listen to what I had to say. If you made it through to this end of this video, I want to say just I appreciate y'all for listening. I feel like doing these videos sometimes can be therapeutic. True story, it's a little over 8 months ago when my daughter was born and we were staying away from the house. I didn't have my MPC Live with me, and I started dreaming about an SP404A, was looking at that, and I really wanted that, and I was obsessed about that. That's when I started my YouTube channel, and I started doing tutorials for the MPC Live. Very shortly after that, my whole feeling for this wanting for this SP404A faded away, and then it just resurfaced recently. Who knows why? But there it is. Don't be deceived by your desires sometimes. They're just trying to test you, see how strong you are, see what you're made of. So thanks y'all for joining me. I hope this helped out. And I am Raul. This is Lit the Noise. Once again, peace. Take care. Later.